Hello everybody, and welcome to the Dirty Landry Report. I'm your host, I'm CJ, and today we're going to pass along some advice from the Sultan of Dynasty Football dreams himself, the one and only Dirty Landry. Now, I was lucky enough to speak with Dirty this week, and he shared his 10 simple rules for drafting a championship caliber startup Dynasty League team. We should mention at this time that this is based on new leagues with a regular draft and a 5-round rookie draft to follow. We here at NFL Fantasy Report do not believe in ranking any rookie until we find out where they're going to land, what round they're selected, and we'll leave that for another show, obviously, in the future. So without any further ado, here are the 10 simple rules for your startup Dynasty team. Number 1, winning is as much fun in year 1 as it is in year 5. Trust me. When it gets into the draft, the best players are still going to go first and second rounds, so don't get caught up in all that, I need to go young. I mean, you don't. Running backs don't have long careers, so draft the guys that are going to play now, and don't worry about the age, which leads us to rule number 2. Exactly, don't walk away from talent. I just finished a draft where players like Adam Thielen and Antonio Brown and Fitz, the quarterback, were going late in the draft. Why? That doesn't make sense at all. Age has nothing to do with your first year of startup fantasy football. Plan on winning this season now. Start your dynasty today. Number 3, in most leagues you have a regular draft and a rookie draft. That's usually 5 rounds and it's done every year. That's 10 rookies in 2 years. So that's where your youth is going to come from. How much younger does your team have to be? The fear of growing old? Leave that to me. I'm good at that. Number 4 is a good one. Quarterback. If it's a 2-quarterback league, you need 4. If it's a 1-quarterback league, you need 3. That will prevent you from having to run to waivers every time a starter doesn't play. If you have a super flex, depending on how it's set up, having 4 is the desired number for that, but if it's a tight end premium, you may be able to get away with 3. Using a guy like Kittle or Kelsey in that spot once in a while sometimes would be okay. Very important though, do the math before the draft. There are only 32 starting quarterbacks in the entire NFL, and only about 20 of them are fantasy relevant in any given week. So take this advice to heart. Because you aren't going to win by running to the waiver wire in week number 10, looking for the new quarterback, plan ahead. Number 5, when do you draft these quarterbacks? Well, if you want quarterbacks like Mahomes, Jackson, Allen, or Herbert, you're going to have to get used to the idea of drafting those guys in round 1 or maybe round 2. They're going to be on your team for several years, so they do have more value. However, if you're okay with Ben and Brady and Ryan and older guys like that, well, you can wait a bit, but don't wait too long, because once they're gone, that's it. And you won't be depending on rookies for victories when it comes to playoff time. Okay. And number 6. I think this is my favorite of all the rules, really. The biggest difference between a dynasty team and a redraft, well, if you screw it up, you don't just throw it back. You have to fix it. It's yours forever. But then you'll be looking at my next video, which is how to repair my awful dynasty team. Stay tuned. All right, number 7. Yeah, this is good. Number 7, I like this one. Do not trade away your draft picks for next season until you know how good your team is this season. Makes sense. In other words, if you're doing well and you think you might have a chance to win, go ahead, make that trade. Your picks are likely near the bottom anyway, but if you're having that bad season, and this is when those older players, the consistent and proven players that you drafted, can really benefit you. You can start trading them to the teams in contention. They may be able to win with them in exchange for some of their picks for next season. And the fun of having those picks, well, sometimes that can outweigh the disappointment of having a bad season. So never trade picks without a real reason to do so. Number 8, draft picks are not as good as having the talent. Period. Enough said. Proven players will win you a league title, and as the old Hall of Fame coach Don Matthews once said to me, rookies tend to get coaches fired. Number 9, Go with your gut. Best player available, players you trust, solid performers. That's how you draft, not just in Dynasty, but in all fantasy leagues. Don't be afraid to ask for advice from someone that you trust. Hunches are fine in the draft. When you have your starters and you've already set up your bench and you've got one or two spots at the end, which, there's not much talent around. But don't stretch for players who are unproven, because your Uncle Joe talked to that third cousin of the backup quarterback for the Dolphins practice squad, and he said, you know better, right? And number 10, do not draft a kicker unless you have to. If it's not an obligation, then use that spot for a roster player. Take that gamble on Uncle Joe's friend, You can grab a kicker at any time. A day or two before the season begins, all teams, they got a guy. If you're obligated to draft a kicker, though, the old rule is find a guy with a long leg who plays indoors or in a really nice environment like Miami or Southern California, something along those lines. Carrying a kicker through the off-season in Dynasty Football is kind of a waste of a roster spot. And there you have it. Hopefully that helps, but here's one more tip for you. If you need some help with a pick or a team, or you have a general fantasy advice question, please feel free to visit our website. Send us a message or question, and I guarantee you an answer within 24 hours. Likely a lot sooner than that, as I do have my phone, We are here to help. We don't do analytics, but we're nice people, and your success makes us better. Please like this video, subscribe, hit that little bell so you never miss one of our shows. Go to our website, check out our weekly podcasts. And we're new to social media, so we're not all slick and stuff like some guys are, but we're getting there. But we're not new to the fantasy world. Have a great day, and thanks again for watching.